What's up? My name is Jacques Bastien, and I'm crazy afraid of dogs. So it's funny. So I was born in Haiti, and I came here when I was 10. But in Haiti, I was like 6 or 7, right? And I was hanging out with my friends, and we were doing whatever 6 and 7-year-olds do. And so we were leaving to go back home one day, right? So we were leaving to go back home, and we parted ways. Everybody went their own separate ways. And so I was walking, and I heard something like in the bushes. So then, and I seen this object doing something. So I looked, and like a few seconds later, it was a dog. So the big dog turned around and looked at me, right? So I'm looking at the dog, dog's looking at me, I'm looking at the dog, dog's looking at me, looking at the dog, she looking at me. Then I start running, right? Now I'm out, I'm out. So I'm running, dog's right on my tail. I'm running, turning, trying to see how I can lose the dog. He, she, still right here behind me. So I see like this junkyard, right? This junkyard, lots of cars. So I went, made a turn in there thinking I could lose the dog in there, right? I'm running, I'm out, dog's still behind me. So I'm now trying to decide, okay, I can just stop and let him do what he needs to do, or just keep running. Now I'm tired, I'm sweating, I'm like, I don't know what to do. So, but I'm still running, I'm thinking about this, right? Then I seen this mechanic, like from afar, he was working in his car. And so he like got out from under the car, and he kind of had this like football stance, you know what I mean? So kind of like, before they say hike. Now, I don't know if I'm supposed to run to him or past him. So, but I'm still running. Dog's barking all loud. So I'm running. Then I run right past him. And the side of my eye, I seen him like get ready to dive. So he like dove, that's the word, dove? Yeah, so he like jumped after the dog, right? And I never looked back, I'm still running. Now, I don't know if that man's still alive, but he definitely saved my life. And so, but ever since that day, I've been petrified of dogs. Like, if I see a dog on this side of the street, I go on the other way. If I can't, I can't pick up a puppy, like all types of dogs, I've been afraid of them. And I mean, but I can't be alone. I mean, we're all afraid of something, right? Some of us are afraid of the dark. Some of us are afraid of cats. Some of us are afraid of success or failure, right? So, but that moment was so important to me because it carried me throughout my adult life. And still today, I'm still afraid of dogs. And that was scary, right? But it wasn't the scariest thing that's happened to me. Now, the scariest thing that happened to me happened 2 years ago. 2 years ago, March 2016, I went to Costa Rica with my wife and our friends and family. Going on a trip. It's going to be lit. We're going to go there, and the weather was great. And I speak a little Spanish. Hablo español un poquito. So I was excited. So I was getting ready to go. So we get to Costa Rica. Like the second day, we go to this, we go zip lining, right? So we're zip lining, and zip line, like typical. You hang on with your hands and you slide through. So this package we got, it was like 5 different zip lines. It was like 4 traditional ones and this last one called the Superman. So we go zip lining, and I think I'm an adventurer, so I'm like, I bet. So I volunteer to go first every time, right? So the first one, bam, I'm out. We're doing this regular one. The second one, I'm like, all right, 1 foot. Like I'm, showing off. And, everybody's there, but I'm in showing off. So third one, fourth one. Then we finally get to the 5th one, Superman, right? So the Superman, let me tell you about the Superman. The Superman is 800 feet high. So we're talking about close to 3 times the height of the Statue of Liberty, right? So, and the way the Superman works is it's a mile long. So you're going for a mile, and you can't just stop, right? So, 800 foot high, a mile long. And the thing is, most zip line, you like hold it with your hands, right? So this one, they put something on your back, and they suspend you in the air like this, your legs up and everything. Like you're laid down, then they push you. So you're going 800 feet in the sky, straight, for 1 mile, right? So now I wasn't ready to be first, right? So, but to get to the Superman, it was so high, we got to climb up this mountain. So there's this very steep mountain. It's so steep, the roads are paved, but you can't walk there. Because if you walk, like, you're gonna fall. Like, it's that steep, right? So the only way to get up there is a truck, which made no sense to me. But they had this truck, and I guess they had good wheels and all that jazz. So all of us got in this truck, this manual truck, and they started driving us up the mountains for the Superman. So we're going up now, and the ride itself is about 15 minutes. That's how high, and we're going around, and the mountain itself, there was enough space for like barely one car, right? So we going up. Now I'm scared. Now I'm petrified, right? Because if the wrong rock slips and touches the wheel, that's it. If the driver puts the wrong gear, right, that's it, right? So, and you know, it's like an old truck. So every time he switched gear, like it jumped. So like, and you could tell everybody was scared, but I was probably like the most. You know, my wife was right there. She was like, you know, keeping a poker face. You know, you got to be a man. So I'm like trying to keep it. I'm trying to be tough, but like it's hard. I mean, I'm scared. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna talk to these guys so I could get over my nerves, right? So I asked the dude. I was like, yo, there's never been any accidents, right? So he's like, nah, man, you're good. Never been any accidents. I said, cool. He said, but we've been open for 3 months, so we'll see. So there are many things wrong with that sentence. First of all, we'll see. Second of all, they've been open for 3 months. We're beta testing this ride. Like there hasn't been an accident because there hasn't been enough sample size, right? So like we could be that. So now my heart is beating like crazy, and we're still riding this crazy mountain, and we're still going. Now I'm like, I bet I got to try to figure out a way to get out of this because I don't want to do this anymore. So we still going up, and I stopped asking them questions because they just made me more scared. So we get to the top of the mountain, right? So we up there, and I see the ride. It's like you got to get on this platform. They like they suspend you. And then you gotta like do this jump thing, and then they throw you, and then you die. No, but you know. So I'm like I'm not doing it. So I've decided I'm not doing this anymore. So, but I'm your man. I gotta try to convince my wife that it's her idea to not do it. So I'm like, we don't have to do this if you don't want to. She's like, we came all the way this far. We might as well. I'm like, nah, we don't have to. So I'm like, you know what? The guy's there now. He's explaining the ride. He's telling everybody, this is what you need to do. Don't touch the wire, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what? I'm on the way to the first 2 people go because you go in twos. When they go, I'm going to then try to like sneak around the back. And so when everybody's done, then when the guys are leaving, they'll be like, oh, these 2. And we'll go down with them. But then it hit me. I got to go back down in that truck. And I was scared of it going up. So now I'm just like stuck in this like, And before I got a second to think, they called the first 2 people up. It was me and my wife. So now we're on this platform. They put the harness and all that jazz. I'm praying to God in my head out loud in Spanish. I'm just like hoping, right? I'm just saying, I can't get away. I can't get out of this. So I might as well just face it and go through it, right? So we get on. My wife is good. She gets up and she's ready to go. I'm like, so I'm still scared, right? But I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. I'm here. So I got up and then they pushed us out. The moment they push, I scream for like 30 seconds. I run out of breath, but it's a mile long. So we're still going. So I couldn't scream anymore. So I'm like, so my eyes are closed. I'm like, I don't know what's happening, but I'm screaming. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm up here. Let me open my eyes, right? So I open my eyes and I do the arm thing and like really try to get into the ride. And it was literally the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. The most breathtaking view of literally the entire city that we're in, being 800 feet in the air and looking around and really feeling like Superman. And just a few seconds ago, I was going to get off that rod, but like, I'm thankful that I went through with it, and I'm just looking at the beauty of this view. Like, I don't know if I can ever replicate that view ever again in my life. Now, the thing is, it's funny how our life works, right? Because our lives are full of beautiful views, just like that view, right? Our lives are full of opportunities. They're full of things. They're full of new ideas or new companies. And your best life, right, is literally right there. But a lot of us are too afraid, like I was, of one, going up that mountain. And then going up that mountain, we're also afraid of getting in that truck. And being afraid of getting in that truck, when we finally get to the platform, we're afraid of jumping. If the view of the Superman is the life that we want, if it's that perfect vision that we, imagine for ourselves, or that whatever God had created for us and, the best version of ourselves, we quit before we even get to the mountain. And if we don't get to the mountain, we get in the truck and we quit there. And if not, we get up top, we see the platform, and we don't take the leap. But life is full of so many beautiful views, right? So I was born in Haiti, raised in Red Hook, was a part of RHI, and a good portion of who I am today is a result of my time in Red Hook and RHI. Today, I run a holding company that owns over 6 brands. I've worked with almost every company in the world, from McDonald's to Marriott, to Kinky Curly, to liquor brands. I mean, the list goes on, to Foot Locker and Sally Beauty, and the list goes on. I'm a college professor. I teach at University of Albany, and I teach students, oftentimes older than me, how to design mobile apps. I'm an author. I'm a writer. I write for Entrepreneur Magazine, which is a publication that writes to entrepreneurs. I'm married to the most beautiful, best woman that exists in this world. I live the perfect life that I initially would have imagined for myself. But like everybody else, I have fears. I'm afraid of public speaking. I'm afraid of confrontation. I'm afraid of failure. I'm afraid of dogs. But like everybody else, I'm afraid. But the difference is I push through those fears, right? Because a lot of people will tell you that you got to be invincible and fearless. That's BS. Pardon my French or Spanish. But there's no such thing as being fearless. Fear exists, and the real way to get over fear is to push through it. No one is fearless, because then they would not be human. Now, let me break down, fear comes from this idea of uncertainty, right? Like when you don't know what the outcome will be. And the lack of that uncertainty keeps us in the jobs that we don't want to be in for too long, keeps us in the relationships we don't want to be in for too long, keeps us in the household we don't want to be in for too long, keeps us in the position we're in life for way too long. But because we don't know what the next step will look like, that uncertainty. But it's okay, because Mark Zuckerberg didn't know whatever the next step of Facebook was going to be. When I started what I'm doing, I never knew what it was going to become either. So we're all alike. And the thing is, if you put your hand on a hot stove, it's going to burn. That's your brain telling you, move your hands because you're hurting yourself, right? Your brain's job is to protect you. When you're afraid, that's your brain just doing its job. It's your brain saying, you've never done this before. I don't know what it's going to be like. I don't trust it. But that doesn't mean it's going to be good or bad, right? Because a lot of us, I'm sure we've all not listened to what our parents told us to do once or twice in life, right? And fear, your brain is like the parents in this case, right? Your parents tell you not to go to this party because the worst could happen. And the worst could potentially happen. But it didn't. You went there, you had a good time, you got lit, right? And you came back safe and sound. But your parents are doing their job because they're trying to protect you. And that's what your brain is doing. So the moment you realize what fear is made up of, then you realize there's no such thing as fearless, but rather just understanding why it exists and then pushing through it. The life that we're all waiting for, the life that we all want, it's literally a decision away. You want to move out the country? You know, obviously there are other things that come into place, like finances, resources, etc. But all you gotta do is start. Sometimes you gotta take a leap and grow your wings on the way down. It's okay to not know. Nobody knows. Nobody who is in the position they're in now knew they were gonna be there when they started. Why? Because there are a lot of people who also started with them who you've never heard of because they didn't make it. And that's the reality of the situation. But, so we can't control that. The only thing we can control is our actions. So the next time you're afraid, understand that it's your brain doing its job. Your brain is like a Secret Service to your body, right? It's just protecting you. But the next time you're afraid, or the next time you find yourself hesitating to take a leap or make a decision that's going to impact your life, realize that that fear is normal. It's a part of you. It's a part of life. But push through it. Because you can't have things in life that you've never had without doing things you've never done. Push through fear. Take leaps. Grow your wings on the way down. And remember, you can't have things you've never had without doing things you've never done. So that thing that you haven't done, that your brain is afraid, you have to do it to have the things that you've never had. Thank you.